Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Hey, we want to shout out to our sponsors, Daytona Beach Comic Con. If you are a fan of comic books, if you're a fan of comic book conventions, and if you like meeting comic book creators and getting comics and comic-related stuff, then you need to make your plans to attend Daytona Beach Comic Con. This year's show is September 9th and 10th. Silverline will be there, so you should make your plans to be there too. We'll see you there. If you like comics and find yourself in the Orlando, Florida area, doesn't everyone come to Orlando at some point in time to see the House of Mouse? But when you're here, you need to make it a point to visit Coliseum of Comics, especially the one on East Colonial Drive. They carry Silverline comics, even a limited edition Coliseum of Comics version of our comics. So, when you go, be sure to ask for Silverline Comics and tell them we sent you. OCD stands for Orlando Collector Deviants. OCD, Steve and Trish. They're a family of geeks who promote geek things, particularly those around the Orlando, Florida area. They're big supporters of Silverline, and we think you should be supporters of theirs too. Go give them some love. If you are an independent comic book maker and you need to get your independent comics made, you need to look no further than Kablam Digital Printing. They print our books, and they do a bang-up job. They're not only trusted by Silverline, but many, many independent comic book makers. Head on over to kablam.com and see for yourself just how easy it is to have your comic printed by them. And tell them Silverline sent you.
Hi, this is Tim TK, host of That Silverline Show on Tuesday. Join us at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday night as we discuss pop culture and the joys of making comics.
And I'm Scott Wakefield, host of Silverline's Wednesday Wham, where we talk about comic books and all kinds of great storytelling, sometimes with incredible guests. And we want you to join us Wednesday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you there.
I'm Roland Mann, and I host Silverline's Silver Sunday. Join me every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern as we make mine Silverline.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, men, women across this beautiful country, around the planet, and those of you listening thousands of years from now, somewhere in the universe, it is Wednesday. At least it is here on Earth, and that means Silverline's Wednesday Wham. I'm joined by our usual guests, Rob and Rory. Barb is off vacationing, much to our dismay and our displeasure. We told her no way, and yet she's off gallivanting somewhere. And we are joined tonight. I'm honored and humbled that we did not frighten Chad and Matt away last time that they were here. And they actually wanted to come back on the show. So
Foolish.
They should have learned their lesson the first time. We have a fantastic show tonight. That Chad and Matt were here last time, and we love talking. We might go a little longer if we need to, guys. So I'm going to tell them to take it away in just a moment. But right now, they're going to sit awkwardly while I continue talking, and remind everybody out there, or in fact, this is the first announcement from the Wednesday crew, that Silverline has a Kickstarter campaign running right now. It is a continuation of the Obsoletes issue number 2 and the Pendulum issue number 1. If you grabbed Obsoletes number 1, you're obviously going to want to continue reading issue number 2. And Pendulum number 1 is a remix. It is bringing back a story that was released quite a while ago. It has been revived, refreshed, recolored, and so forth. encourage you to go to Kickstarter.com. You can just search Silverline. I find if you just search Silverline and not Silverline Comics, you get better results. That's the easiest way. Otherwise, the URL is everywhere you'll find Silverline on the socials. It is on Facebook. It is on LinkedIn. It is on Instagram, Twitter, and others.
It's written on the bathroom wall.
It is. If you are watching on your phone right now, look to the right or left. You may see that URL. I don't know if you can click on it. It's there. We are all ever present, and we got that link out there everywhere. So those of you who have backed the campaign already, hey, thank you. Those of you who haven't, what are you doing? And
after the show,
go
right over after the show.
Get over there and take a look and back that and grab these comic books. They're fun stories. I will remind everybody as we go through the show to get over there. Hey, we are talking tonight, as I said, Chad and Matt are here, creators of an amazing story that just launched yesterday, and I'm going to let them tell you everything they want to tell you about it. Take it away. One, two. What's that?
Including the ending.
Yes. Tell us. How
I love spoilers.
He wakes up and it's all been a dream.
It's
Classic.
Wow. How'd you come up with that?
Dallas all over again.
Yeah.
Well, this is
take it away.
It just came out in bookstores officially yesterday. It's been, I think, it's been a month, I think, Matt, in comic shops.
Yep.
It's Sons of Ashgard, Ilmit in Elmgard. It's about Viking squirrels.
Yes.
So good.
which is so much.
You don't hear that phrase
so
very
much
often.
fun.
It is a phenomenal phrase. Actually, I was just signing a book as I tell you about that, Matt. I was at a Barnes & Noble today, just kind of getting out and having some fun, and they had a copy there. I was signing it, and I happened to mention, well, it's about Viking squirrels, and the guy behind me goes, Viking squirrels, and he picked up and bought it and ran away. So it's a good marketing ploy. So
I've been waiting all my life for this.
It's like, you got Usagi Yojimbo, Samurai Rabbit, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Viking Squirrels.
Had to be done.
Fits in there.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So you want to talk a little bit about it, Matt, or kind of?
You take it away. You got the sales pitch down. We've been doing these signings. He's got the pitch.
Yeah, we've been actually touring now for how many times? About 5 or 6 events now so far?
6, I think.
Yeah, I had a really great time. I think right after we did our first show with you guys on the 3rd or something like that, May 3rd, we had the free comic book day at the Source. It's a rather large comic shop down our neck of the woods, basically. And we sold out of all our inventory, which they ordered in, which was great. I mean, it was
fantastic.
It was a big event too. They had several hundred people there too, but it was still just fun to get out there and interact and see people and come up with books. So I think it's going to do pretty well based on that response. And the stores we've done so far, we haven't killed each other. So we've been able to kill each other. They've done very well too. And the response of then, I think you can say, Matt, too, it's been very favorable from the store and from the people. They really enjoyed it, that Viking concept. I think Matt's art really helps sell it.
Yeah.
The colors make it just really pop. The story is about, see if I can do the pitch here. His name is Eric Redfur. He's a little guy down here, the little red squirrel, obviously, typecasting. And he's the angry guy that kind of has some issues in his past and trying to get past them and thinks he can find a new life for himself in this world of this new setting, basically, of Elmgard. And it doesn't work out so much like he was thinking it would be. And he finds himself involved in this larger kingdom-wide war, we say. I think Matt's been saying mystery that needs to be solved, a bunch of different things going on. And through that process, he finds his friends. It's kind of an origin story, but also has some challenges along the way. Yeah, I actually show some pages there. And this is a very introductory page. I like what they did with the backgrounds, too. It's kind of fun how they laid it out. Made it seem kind of old school, but new school in a lot of ways. But so obviously Sons of Ashgard, Ilmit and Elmgard is the first volume. We're looking at making them stand alone so you can read them independently, but there'll be some kind of interconnectivity between the issues so you can get more information out of the whole storyline, if that makes sense. There's a fun little...
That's so good.
I love it.
People like them. I mean, they really, really turned out well. Yeah. What do you think, Matt? Any comments on that? How you drew them?
Yeah, those are the chipmunks.
The chipmunks are evil. I'm
It's
with
what
you,
they
man.
look
Yes.
like without their colored T-shirts and baseball caps.
I was going to say, which one's Alvin?
Right? I don't know this guy.
The
Let's
guy
do
in the
this.
middle.
He has a mohawk, yeah. But yeah, so the general idea, obviously, we wrote it primarily, I mean, trying to figure out a way to better explain it, but we've been I wrote it for adults, obviously, but it's not gratuitous in any way, sense of the word. It's just a very fun, entertaining read. And so anyone can read it from, I always say adults to adults, basically like an all ages kind of thing. A lot of the reviews we've been getting to have been kind of saying the same thing, where it's like, it has a complex story, if you want to call it that, with some issues and stuff, but it's really an all ages type of story. So as you can tell from the artwork and stuff, it's pretty fun. It's just an entertaining read. So
It does look fun.
I always like to throw in, and Chad's probably getting sick of me saying, but like Secret of Nim, Watership Down,
Yep.
And then Disney's Robin Hood.
Yes. Ooh, the lolly.
Yep.
yeah, it kind of has an animation quality to it. So I think when we were starting out, we wanted to make it, I don't know about you, I wanted to make it fun and just entertaining. I know some people have commented that you should make it serious. It's it's about Vikings and squirrels, and they're wearing clothes. They're carrying weapons. They're talking English. I mean, it's not real. It's not believable.
Well, it's like you can have both. I mean, Disney animation, classic animation has showed us you can have a serious story and use cartoons to tell it. You don't need to make everything, like this is a serious story. They all have to look realistic, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Secret of Nim had Dom DeLuise, right? And
yeah.
So
I love the faces, man. It's great with that. The expressions are incredible.
Yeah, you've done so great with this. You're talking about like having clothed animals and it being serious and then not taking it so serious. One of my favorite, and I'm going to butcher the story, but one of my favorite Gary Larson anecdotes was, The Far Side. Someone wrote him to correct him about the one of his comics is the mosquito coming home and telling his wife about how bad his day was, and someone wrote to correct him. That it's the female mosquito that actually goes out and does that. He says, and he responded, he said, they don't actually wear clothes and talk and live in houses. So, don't take it too seriously.
You had me laughing just at somebody was trying to correct a cartoonist. Come on,
yeah,
man.
Gary Larson. Yeah. Actually,
well, that's what I liked about what Matt did here too, talking about faces and stuff. He really, I think, initially he wanted to pull his hair out and yell at me all the time, but I think he did a really great job of making everyone look unique.
Yep.
Yes.
And having a place. Yeah. I mean, I made his life kind of challenging because he was always trying to say, can we put, facial hair on people? Can we give them crazy hairdos? I was like, well, we got to stay within the realm of, slight believability. But
you see, I subtly got away with it with Eric's hair, though. I gave him something.
He's got
he's the distinguishing character. You gotta, gotta pick him out of a crowd.
Yeah, we would walk the fine line there here and there, but I mean, for the most part, I think he just did an astounding job of what he's able to accomplish with just basic accessories and, color helps too, but just, like the eyes, the facial expression, you go to the crowd and stuff and they're all like, doing the various things. It just, especially with the chipmunks, he went a little crazy later on.
Yeah.
All of them were doing the individual things. Like you didn't have to go that crazy, but I think he went a little.
Yeah. They're all doing yep.
Yeah, good expressions.
Yeah.
I like the body paint because initially it was a fun idea. Like, how do you make them look like, quote unquote tribal? It's like, well, they already come that way. The body paint.
Yeah.
Natural.
It's wild how many different ones are there. Like I said before, I'm waging my own personal war against chipmunks on the property, and I got rid of all the ones that had blue stripes. Now they've been replaced with ones with brown stripes. So.
Oh, cool. Variety. Yeah, just it's like I said, the color really helps to pop. They did Hi-Fi is the colorist. They've done a lot of stuff with DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, obviously, independent stuff, and it just went for like a cell shading type of animation, kind of quality too, which I think really just look at the guy in the background there, the arm raised up and everything. It's like just everything is just.
I like the guy in the background on the top one.
Yeah. So how did you do that, Matt? Did you just kind of figure out different ideas for poses or things or people? Or
Well, it's a crowd, and not everyone's going to just be standing in one position. So I just kind of figured, what would they be doing? They're kind of outraged. So you got a guy screaming. If you scroll back up, there is, go up a little bit more. Yeah. One more right there. So there's a guy right behind the gray squirrel. He's kind of way off in the back. He's gray, kind of a different shade of gray himself. Got squinty eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
I picture Patrick Warburton's voice coming out. What are you guys doing?
Like Seinfeld, Patrick Warburton.
Yeah. What did he used to say?
I like that.
But did you use any references for that, for the different facial expressions?
No, I just was playing around for the most part. I got the heavy set one. Then I figured there's going to be old guys, so I made the dude with the patch on his eye, like he's seen something. And then there's the maidens, and there's the scared guy, and
so the patch guy's gotten a little bit of mustache going on
there. Yeah. See, the problem with that is you make it too big, it becomes like a terrier. So you got to be careful.
Yeah. So tell us about the bigger story world, if you can, without revealing too much. Reveal as much as you want.
Sure.
Tell us about the bigger story world, the geopolitical situations, the economy,
history.
Well, they all use acorns for currency now. Basically, there's 9 different realms or kingdoms, I guess you want to call it. What I do for stories, let me backtrack. What I tend to do is I do a lot of world building. With comics, it's a little bit different in the sense that it's a very visual medium, so you had to do a lot of visual work up front. So what Matt and I ended up doing is a lot of character design work. I think we designed like weapons and stuff too. Is that accurate, Matt? Okay.
Yeah.
Trying to get a feel for stuff, how it looks. Basically, the general idea for me with the story was it's called Midheim. It's obviously based a lot on Norse population and culture and things like that without making it too cookie cutter. There's kind of some elements, if you're familiar with Minnesota, the boundary waters in between Canada and Minnesota is a big area with a bunch of islands and water all over the place. And my idea initially came from the concept of, they sail the 7 seas, so to speak, the Vikings did, but I don't really see squirrels doing ocean-wide travel. They're kind of hard to do, but you can put them in like something like the boundary water area, and little individual islands and like larger like lakes will become like oceans or seas or things like that in their mindset. So kind of scaling it back, if that makes sense. And that kind of go back to the city there, maybe scroll back up a page and see. Give you an idea, but the idea is basically maybe go down or whatever. So you'll find it eventually. Right, the next one.
There it is.
The concept there. So you kind of got that Norse flavor to things going on with stuff, but it seems kind of believable. There's individual kingdoms. They're all named after trees. So you got Ashgard, Elmgard, Birchgard, things like that. There's different elements of the world where different animals live. We'll get into later on. Like I think in the second book, we're telling you a secret now. But there's some avian type of encounters that go on, and we learn about more of that element that goes on. We get more into the mythology as well, the background of their culture and things like that. So it was just a fun story. I just wanted to have an introductory concept. Always, you got to do it in the first book. You got to introduce the main character and explain this world through his eyes, so to speak, and that a lot of great opportunities, I think. And then especially their squirrels, so you kind of have some fun with it as far as trees and things, and the ground squirrel versus tree squirrels, and then the underground land. So that's kind of where the chipmunks come into the play. They go underground basically, and so you kind of have that different elements of the 3 different domains kind of fighting in different levels. There's not a lot of political stuff in this story. I guess maybe there is, man. Huh? I guess there's the Jarl. He's there. He's kind of like doing some shenanery, I guess. Feel free to come in anytime. Huh?
He's your standard politician.
I think we actually see him in what page was that? Page 8 maybe, or page? No. I'm sorry. Go.
Not
up
on these pages.
Go up a little more. You got to get to the houses. You got to go down. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To the houses, and you'll see him. And
I don't want to give away too much.
No, you're not going to give away too much. There he is, right here. This guy.
Okay.
Here. So the curly hair. So.
I'm gonna go back through with the print screen.
Together.
You read it in chunks.
That's an example of some great use of hair too, because I always liked how the hair kind of fit with the little band there. So
I always figured he was a little more fancier than your average. He's a politician, and he's got his manservant there, or his yes man.
Advisor.
Got his old major domo, huh?
Yeah, we never did name him, did we? I think we just called him Advisor. So
I don't think you had a name for him.
No.
His name is
Just a random
Percy
guy.
or something.
Oh, in this scene, you'll actually find a secret character in there. We can't share that. That's secret. I'm just giving you trouble.
Well, you could show it. He doesn't have to tell you which one's secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fun thing, we can tell that's it. That's the other fun thing I like doing with comics is I try and put myself in there as a cameo. At least for the first issue.
Yeah.
I try and involve the artists and the rest of the creative team as possible. So maybe we're in this particular issue out there.
Okay.
We're squirrels, you don't really know.
Yeah.
What's the skull above the door? What kind of animal did that come from?
I don't know. What was that, Matt? Was that a snake?
A snake.
Oh, okay.
That was I looked for, what's a creature that would, kind of like someone would mount a crocodile head.
Yeah.
Snakes eat rodents and squirrels. I figured that somebody killed it. And
Oh, arm wrestling.
I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to give too much away.
That's probably good because that's
okay. All right, folks. That's it.
Arm above the door, like a Beowulf call out.
Basically, the idea behind the story, and then I can share a little bit more about the layout here. What we're doing, we did an exclusive event, so we have these prints we're giving out with a little plastic sleeve you get with them. It's the cover of the book. We're doing those with with book signings. We're doing it was an exclusive book signing. I should back up a little bit because of the split release of the book. We had a book coming out at the comic shop. Oh, there's a bookmark. Yeah, woohoo, bookmarks. You always get a bookmark. So you can get that signed, get the print signed, get the book signed, and we also have for bookstores My Jones Soda, which is the Ashgard version. So it's
cool.
That's cool.
So,
That's fantastic.
yeah, if I can show that. Oh, there it is. There we go.
Yeah. If I click on you and make you, there we go. There you go.
Actually, root beer. So if you like root beer, there you go.
That's so good.
It's been a hit with the stores. I've actually getting kind of a reputation, I guess. I've done some book signings for pro stuff in the past, and they're like, "Oh, you're that guy that does the soda." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
That's so cool. That's fantastic.
And it's actually a great marketing. Like, you want to learn about marketing? That's a great marketing idea because they don't drink it usually, which is probably a good thing. It's probably too much sugar to. But they keep it up. It's a nice little memento. It's a nice little memory. They think, "Oh, you guys are the nice guys that gave me some pop." So
that's cool.
Yeah,
but make a signature mead for you guys. I got two gallons going right now.
That's the next thing, right? But I thought root beer is close enough. It fits the color scheme a little bit.
Yeah.
So
walnut mead. Acorn.
But no, it was really, really fun. We had a great time because we had that release cycle. It came out the first, I think it was the 5th or 6th of May. So we had like a month or so already. We've been doing signings.
May 9th.
Was it May 9th? It's kind of a blur now with everything.
I know.
But we've been doing signings at comic book stores and Barnes and Nobles in particular. And we have one coming up next weekend. So if you're in Minnesota, if you want to fly up here, we're doing it at the Mall of America, which is a nice store. Very, very fun store. And they're supposedly the biggest graphic novel retailer in the state for comic books. So if you can believe that. So that'd be fun. And they really like me, at least. I don't know about Matt. We'll find out. We'll see. See how it goes. But yeah, it's been really fun. And I'm looking forward to wrapping the tour up with that. And then if you guys are in Chicago, I will be at the ALA, the American Library Association event at the Dark Horse booth on the weekend following, signing stuff there as well. So if you're a librarian, if you're watching this now or later, or will be there, stop on by. I'm signing that and the Shadow Regent, another prose fantasy book as well. So it's kind of backtracking now. I'm going forward here. We're doing the upcoming events now. Like I said, it's released in bookstores, and so we can actually do some more fun stuff with it. Unfortunately, the tour is kind of coming to an end when the book comes out, but we've been having some fun times. So we had to kind of jiggle some things around and do some exclusive signings, and that's where we had the special releases and the prints and things tied into that. So is there anything else you want to add to that, Matt? It seems like I kind of got a mouthful in there.
No, as you've explained it well.
Okay.
No, I love it. I love that you guys have been, we talk on the show quite a bit about the ins and outs, all the background stuff that has to happen about being a professional, meaning even if, you guys have Dark Horse, that's awesome. You get picked up by one of the bigger guys too. They they don't do a lot of the legwork. They do some of it, and you be very thankful for what they do. But man, there's a lot that you have to do. And I watch Rob and Ron Fortier do a lot of stuff together with their projects for Airship 27 and all the promotion that has to happen for the Silverline stuff. And you guys are just knocking it out of the park. So people out there watching, get over to chadcorrie.com, right? And he's got
an amazing website.
An amazing website.
Incredible wealth of information.
Your blogs, your vlogs,
the podcasts, multiple podcasts,
vlogs, and everything.
Too much.
Yeah. I follow them all and then listen to them all.
That's what you got. That's what you got to do, though.
Yeah,
that's what you got to push.
It's called the grind in the biz.
Yes, it is.
And you're talking about doing all these events, and Chad, you joked about Matt's heard you say the same stuff 1,000 times. Rory and I have only done 2 books, and you get your routine.
We are like a well-worn record,
and then you just turn off while the other guy talks for a while, and but it's what you got to do, and you guys are doing a great job. So kudos to you and folks out there. Really, if you've got questions about the business of once you create a book, or even while you are creating a book and creating your brand, these guys are doing it. So check out everything that they have going on all their socials and on their website. It's a wealth of information, and just the stuff he's touched on tonight. Pop says hello. Hi, Pops. And
hey,
Vic
Pops.
rolls out of bed and says he just woke up. Good day, good morning. Vic said he found some scimitar and some of your old stuff.
I'm so sorry.
So the business wise and process wise, why don't you? I'm gonna open up another. My other window here. Give me a second. You guys, I would love to have you talk about a little of the process that you go through to make the comic. So let me close that, stop that screen, and I'm going to start another one. So comic books are almost always collaborative. It is a rare thing to find someone who does it all. And if you
Which is what I totally thought when we started this venture a decade ago. I'm like, I can sit down and one person draws it out and
oh my,
no,
oh my,
no.
Not if you want to stay sane. It's not a good way to.
Right. Yeah. And now I have to give a lecture in my film and literature professor's class on the whole process. I'm like, oh gosh, you got 2 hours. All right.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, so it's a collaborative process. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if you guys figured out, since you tabled together or promoted this stuff together, have you found that you kind of got a routine where it's like, because there's 2 of you, you're able to better focus on like both sides of the table kind of thing and kind of hit different areas?
We're both writers. That's the problem. So if none of our artists have lived anywhere near us. We've not been able to, except for my good buddy Dan Hosek. He's done some colors, letters, helped us edit. He knows the business as well. He's able to talk about the art side a little more than Rory and I. But we love to talk about the collaborative writing process because that's very much how we've written our stories. One of us hashes out part of the plot line and then we verbalize it. It's great. I really like reading our script because comic books can read a bit more like a script. You have some movements and action and camera angles.
And it is much more helpful when we're in the same room.
Yeah, because we can fight. Yeah. The headlock, the noogie. It's a useful tool.
You can feel the energy and the anger.
It feeds the creativity.
Putting out the cigarette butts and the beer cans and but the collaborative process usually, a lot of times it's just that's so awful. in the academic world, sometimes it's just the worst thing ever. But in the professional world, when you're trying to create something amazing and be successful, working out a plot and a script, I love it because it's storytelling. I love making a story come to life, and when we're talking, and then you guys have probably experienced it. Someone has just that the just something just clicks, or the pieces fall together while you're trying to hash out some. Usually, it's
you say something you've never thought of before.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
roll that. Ours is steampunk, and what we came up with, what is it? Roll that beautiful steam footage.
Yeah.
Just as a joke, he's joking around. Like, oh, it's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good. It just did nothing to help our story, but it was good.
We had a fun time.
But when you manage that, usually you're trying to make that transition happen. That's like it's always the little bits, the connecting bits that are the big hang-ups. You've got all these great things you want to happen, and it's just fitting them together, and so hashing them out is fantastic. So Tommy's here, or at least he's in passing. Hi, Tommy. Vic says hi. And the artists are staying away from the history nerds. I know we do frighten people away.
We do.
We're a bit too much. I get it.
But tying into what you're saying, what I find out too is, we're working with Matt in particular, is you'll find things, I'm sure you're the same way as the writers, you'll find things, that dialogue doesn't really fit anymore with this panel as they draw the panel or the page, or they discover something, a different way to show something visually that you weren't thinking of. And he said, that works a lot better. So you start changing the story or rewriting it to better fit. You do I'm sure you guys do that too. You kind of fit the visuals in the story. You edit the word balloons and the captions and things to make them fit and flow better with the imagery and things like that. So it is a very collaborative process. You can't really have ego.
Right.
You do this. I mean, you can, but it's not going to really be successful.
The amount of pages of mine that Scott's just innumerable.
Garbage. This dreck.
But it makes you better because you have people that help you. They see things from a different angle, especially like Matt, the visual side of things. He'll say things once in a while like, can we do this, or can we change this? Or this doesn't really, thankfully hasn't done that often that much, but it's like, this isn't really working too much. Can we change this? Can we tweak this or whatever? And
I always ask, I don't.
He's polite.
I don't just take liberties and be like, deal with it.
Yeah. You can say anything as long as you preface it with, well, respectfully.
I mean,
that's a load of force.
Consider. I think there were a couple pages early on in the script where it's like, I approached Chad. I'm like, can we add another panel? Or subtract even, depending on what's going on, because we got too much going on and you need to break it up. But I think that was fairly early on, because towards the end, I don't remember ever having to do that.
It got better.
Yeah.
But if you scroll up again, we'll kind of go through the process here a little bit. Is initially, I don't have the script, unfortunately, to show you. Maybe that's a good thing to keep the secret. But basically what happens is, I think it's a general process for most comics. If you're not familiar with it, there's a script. And how you write the script, it varies. Some people like the Marvel style, which is, you kind of just tell a thumbnail approach to things, and people just, do the artwork and they fill the story in later as you go kind of thing. I'm more of the traditional script type of thing where you have all the panels written down, you have dialogue written out, sound effects within each panel, and so on and so forth. And generally what I try and do, I'm maybe different from a lot of writers, is I like to have the artists have some freedom, actually have some fun when they're doing the work. And so I don't try and over dictate everything, this has to look this way, and this is, this type of this, and da. I say, here's the general idea. I give them some reference material and information, and then let them kind of go at it and say, here's kind of you have fun, figure out what you want to do with it, kind of have some, you can't deal with everybody, obviously, because some artists will need some more direction. Matt's very mature. He can figure it out. He's done it very well. And hopefully, I can't speak for Matt, but I think, these are his thumbnails. He's starting.
Matt, I ink those, color them. That's I love it. Sorry, I love it.
Well, there's an example for the first page here on the left. It's just the 4 panels there. We broke it down, and then the next page, obviously, you have 5. Yeah. And I didn't explain to him how the panels look. I didn't say they had to be vertical or horizontal. I didn't explain the width or anything. That's kind of why I said leave them that flexibility. Sometimes I'll say should be the biggest panel on the page. This should be the extreme close up. But otherwise, I just, like I said, let them kind of decide how the layout looks and what works best for the page and what they want to do. So I think, you want to comment on that, Matt? Or?
Yeah, that's usually, it's pretty freeing. I've worked with editors before that they don't understand what we're looking at here. Like, because I have a day job. At the time I had a day job, plus I was doing sketch cards at night, plus I was also teaching art. So I didn't have any time, and I was sending these thumbnails, and the editor had no clue what to do with them. I'm like, I need you to approve this before I move to the next stage. I only give them, you know, a little bit here and there before I'm going to say you're stuck with whatever you get. You know,
Right,
once it gets an inking stage, I made the mistake a couple times where they're like, "Yeah, we need you to redo the whole page." So Chad's been really good. He understood what I was doing right away. Here's the thumbnails. You know, does this look good to you? I always, you know, and most of the time he's pretty cool with it. A few times he's like, can you move this character over to here because of where they're standing in the scheme of things, you know. But for the most part, it's pretty much as I send them, they get approved, and I move on. Real smooth.
Yeah. Just a couple weapon things once in a while that we got to fix up, but that's minor stuff. Yeah. That's generally the basic layout, and from there, this is that same page in the top left. This is a bigger version in pencils.
Love it.
So he'll go through. You want to take that on and kind of how you draw and whatever, or set up a page.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, a lot of these, I actually have a hard time recreating the energy of the thumbnail, like straight up, like if I'm just drawing it again. So I will blow it up on paper and trace over everything and then fine tune it.
Yeah, I've done that. Sometimes it just doesn't translate from the thumb.
Yeah, you get that certain look and that certain energy, and it's like you try and recreate it. It's like, what am I doing?
It's gone. Yeah, you have to
have it in the
copy it.
Drawing. So
as you can see, he gets pretty detailed with it, with the artwork. I mean, the weapons and stuff. I think you had the most fun with Gorm's axe. I would guess, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but it's actually the one I have the worst time with is Rolf, because he carries two weapons and they don't stow as easy, because he's got the bow and he's got the spear, and I want to, you know, like all the others I can, you know, pretty much they got a satchel or a sheath or something they can shove it in, but he's kind of always got to be carrying that spear around.
Yeah, you can kind of see him on the top panel there on the page.
When he's got to like transition to arrow, I got to make him stab it into the ground or, you know, drop it or something, you know, because it doesn't. I collect action figures, so I always like, you know, like when you could put all their gear on them.
Yes.
You know, like, if I had a Rolf action figure, I'd have to make that spear like fold down.
Oh, you guys ever thought about that? Making miniatures or 3D
all
prints?
the time I think of
that was from day one. I think we talked about this would make a good action figure, but just it's a process of you got to have enough notoriety first. You want to spend the money to actually invest in you. It's an expensive venture. I mean,
but that's an approach I use for when I'm designing some of the characters. Like how you know, I would like to play with this character, like Henrik in the background. He's got a detailed like leather chest thing, and then he's got the two swords, and it's just like, this would be cool. Like, you know, if they made him a toy.
He's the guy right there with the dirt.
Yep.
It's actually supposed to be Brigandine armor. I think we kind of did our own little version of it. So it's again, it's not supposed to be realistic. People, if you're watching, it's a squirrel.
Actually, in Norseman.
I mean, you know, they don't really have the swords behind him either. We know that it doesn't really work. But
there was a ton of detail on the original design. I'm like, there's no way I could recreate drawing this every single time. I got to dumb it down somewhat.
That was fun, actually, seeing you kind of shoot yourself in the foot in the beginning. It was like, how detailed is you going to make this stuff? It's like, you know, you might want to tone that down just a tad.
Well, I went off of the.
Oh, here's the inks here too. That's the same page. He goes over to ink some.
I went off the reference material, and then I was like, what am I doing? It's too directive a drawing.
But I actually like the way the inks turned out too. I think they did a lot of more life into them too. The pencils were great, but I mean the inks even kind of added some more, I think, depth of character in some ways with the shadows and stuff. So
Vic says pewter figures.
Yeah, you could do that. But
well, 3D printing. I mean, you know, you get somebody, you know, somebody who can do the sculpting in the 3D
ones now.
Yeah,
that's
and then
true.
You could sell just the program itself, so people could print their own.
Oh, yeah, the STL
paint and assemble them, and that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, maybe down the road. I always like this little image or two on top you got there. It's kind of fun. They actually used it for the title page, I think, or part of the title page, or background, or maybe of the book. So It's always kind of fun little. You can see how it changes the flow as you go down to the color. So once you get the inking done, that's after the pencils. Matt will come in and say, like you said, the final form. It's like, well, is this okay? Because I'm going to ink it now. Because Matt was doing this old school by hand. We're looking at doing new school stuff with the digital stuff, and then it's like, okay, once you did that, it's kind of stuck. It's hard to change the inks. So that's how we knew it was final. And then Matt would scan it, and then he'd send it to me, and then I'd send it off to the Dark Horse people, and they kind of say, oh, good, all right, another one done. And they kind of say, when's the next one coming? And kind of, no pressure. Keep us going. This is the color. This is what Hi-Fi did. And again, it just turned out well. He added a lot of details, like the sun and stuff. And we actually made some mistakes in the book. That was my fault entirely. I didn't catch it. We had like some night scenes that were supposed to be day scenes, or I guess reversed. And he caught them so well, turning the sun into a moon or whatever he did. Just it phenomenal. And he kept his cool about it too. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I missed that. But it made it for really cool imagery. He does a great job. And I think the grass turned out well. I know Matt kind of does that. They've called you Saturday morning cartoon. But he had a nice flavor to the concept of the background and stuff. I wasn't too sure at first, but I think as you look at it more, it just fits because it's not overly complicated. It doesn't really have to be.
No.
It just I'm not trying to like put myself up on this level, but
go for it.
A number of years ago, the Disney started doing a new DuckTales, and I don't know where they had the comics where they were making them. I want to say it was in Europe somewhere, but they were kind of similar in like the color schemes and like that. I was glad this turned out close to what I was seeing in those, because those were just amazing. My wife was buying those, and I'm like, man, this looks so good. It's almost better than the cartoon, you know.
Well, look at that turned out. Yeah, the background there. We didn't ask for any of that. He added all that kind of element in the detail work for free. Not for free, we paid for it. It was done in there, just extra stuff. You really enjoyed it. So you can see, like Matt's saying, just that added quality. Actually, I think that's probably a good reference point. Maybe more of a European flavor, would you say, Matt? To the
and that's kind of what I was thinking the whole time when you first approached me. You know, we did that first image that ended up, I think you did a T-shirt on it and stuff, and I had it in mind that it would be look like it was on parchment. You know, if we did a poster of it, and it's like, this is like those old indie European comics, you know.
Well, it does have that feel, and there is interest, I think, in the foreign market. We're getting some interest. People are at least looking at it. Awesome. I think because it has that foreign, very high, bright kind of quality to which a lot of the foreign comics have. But yeah, I think this turned out really well. So I mean, the general process, again, we didn't really walk through it real quick, but it's a script. Then you go into the thumbnails. From there, you do the pencils. You kind of draw more detailed work, and then you go and do the inks. In our case, Matt did double duty. Usually, you have a penciler and an inker separately, or sometimes it used to just even like color right over the pencils if they're finished enough. I guess some books have done that, but Matt did double duty, so that kind of added to his challenge. I guess he had to like draw twice the same image, but he got good at it. You said he got muscle memory, so you know how to draw them in your sleep.
Getting muscle memory, yeah. I mean, it's it's a little bit subtle, but they do change as the pages move on. Because I was getting very comfortable with my designs. Like it's like you start to, like I can draw Gorm, without having to sit there and look at all my older drawings, and he looks fairly consistent each time now, whereas at the beginning there was a little bit like, oh, he looks a little different in this panel than he does 10 pages from here,
but you don't really tell. I mean, you don't really see that. I mean, now they might, because you said it, they'll probably go back, oh yeah you changed. But
look at that, it looks like garbage earlier.
No, I think, but overall I think we did a really good job. And then that was a challenge too. I think we mentioned in the last episode is the huge timeline that we had for this project. It was, I think, 5 years? Something like that?
Yeah, I mean, officially, I think we started really working with it at the end of 2018.
Yeah, pretty aggressive.
That's when you got the Dark Horse okay to proceed.
But even then, it was a kind of a long slog to get it all to the finish line, because there's then there's a pandemic in there, and then there's other challenges going on, and then.
Well, it was initially you approached me in 2016, and we did like the 5-page like sample so you can shop it around to publishers.
Yeah, Actually, we go further back than that. 2014 is when I wrote it.
Yeah.
And then I actually had another guy I was going to work with that didn't work out. So this has been going on for
9 years.
Almost 10 years. 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's finally out there.
Makes me feel a little better about my speed as well.
Especially when it's your first book.
Yeah.
And you have challenges. And, Matt, like you said, he has a day job. Plus he was teaching at the time. Plus, he's married. He wants to have, enjoy his wife once in a while, have a family life. You got to do that. So, all these other things going on, plus Dark Horse was having some challenges at the time and things like that. So I'm just so thankful that they allowed us to actually publish it, because they could have said, you guys are taking kind of a long time to get this out there.
Yeah. Vic is a young buck, but old at heart. Keep doing physical. He's doing your physical stuff, because then you can have an original if it's possible. And then Vic, yes, they mentioned on the beginning you might have still been asleep. That are you inspired by the anthropomorphic stuff like Usagi Yojimbo and Pandacon? So yeah.
I'm not really, but I don't know about Matt. Are you inspired by that?
Well, yeah, I've always loved like gummy bears. Remember gummy bears?
Yes.
I see some of that.
Yeah.
I see some of that as inspiration for what you're doing.
They dress the same.
Yeah.
I always liked the idea of like animals that don't know they're animals, and they go and they do their, they go on adventures, basically just animal stand-ins for human characters. It's Teenage Ninja Turtles.
You're right too. That was I think we got a review recently that was really actually from England, which is kind of funny. That was commenting to the effect that this is a very serious, fun story, but it's told for all ages, and it's enjoyable, and it looks like Sunday morning kind of. It's like, well, you got it. You got the idea. It's always fun to have that connection. I think Matt and I are talking about that, because we have this time now once in a while when we have signings and kind of chewing the fat and picking each other's brains, and we're learning more about, I think, where we're coming from creatively, which is kind of fun, kind of entertaining to learn for the next project we do together. But I think it's fair to say, I don't want to speak to Matt, but I think we were kind of equally inspired by stuff like the 80s comics like He-Man and Batman the Animated Series and the classic stuff like that. That kind of sticks in your brain. Snorks, you remember Snorks?
Yep.
Just goofy things like that.
Chippendale's Rescue Rangers.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
What was that power block they had? Whatever it was, the entertainment block back in the day.
Disney Afternoon.
That's what it was. Yeah.
The greatest of all cartoons, Tailspin.
Oh,
Yes.
I drew the Sea Duck every which way. I wrote stories about having the Sea Duck, and
did you know there was a TV pilot called something of the Golden Monkey?
Yes.
I didn't know that till this week.
Oh yeah.
It was one season. Yep.
You want to get that?
Yep. It's based on one season, and Brent Larson. Do you know who played the lead in that show?
No. Gal Gadot.
Star Trek, the
Seventh Heaven guy.
Rob will know. Star Trek, the motion picture.
Yeah.
Captain Decker.
Captain Decker.
No kidding.
His name is left me now. The actual, and he kind of goofed up in his life, and he has an asterisk on his career.
He blew it.
Seventh Heaven. I can't think of the guy's name.
That guy. Yeah.
Collins. Am I thinking Collins? No.
Something like that. Anyway,
Stephen Collins.
Stephen Collins. Yeah. Curse of the Gold Monkey. Tales of the Gold Monkey. What's it called? Yeah.
Adventure of the Curse. I don't know.
It's a dumb show. It's very much.
It's a product of its time. It was meant to be Indiana
cheesy.
Jones for TV.
Cheesy, low budget.
Tales of the Golden Monkey.
Tales of the Golden Monkey. Yeah.
Johnny Quest. Yeah.
I was just going to say that. Oh.
Yep. And that style of art. Yeah, that's fantastic. Hey guys, we're getting down to our last 10 minutes. Before I forget, everybody out there, when the show ends, head over to Kickstarter. We have two titles kickstarting right now with two Silverline titles, Obsoletes number 2 and Pendulum number 1. Also, our guests here, if you're just joining us, Chad Corrie and Matt Wendt have their book that came out yesterday. And go to chadcorrie.com. search for what's the best
Sons
thing
of
to search for?
Ashgard.
Sons of Ashgard would be
Yeah.
the best thing to search for. But you know the spiel. Go like, follow, subscribe, share everything that they're doing. And I just wanted to make sure everybody knows that we're getting down to the waning moments of our show, and I didn't want to forget to mention that. Brent, welcome. You came in mid-conversation. Brent, author of numerous titles, creator of many amazing things, many tales. I don't want to make you feel awkward, but I didn't know if you wanted to chime in at all. They've been talking about their book, and we are happy that they are here. What else? Where can people find you guys? What's the best way? How do you want them to buy your book?
Well, if you can go to the stuff you're pointing at, so we can point at this stuff down here.
Oh yeah, yeah, right. I'll embiggen that.
Yeah, at Creator Chat and then chadcorrie.com.
There we go.
That's probably the best way. You can find me just about any social media for the most part. I'll be at Creator Chad, and then chadcorrie.com is the main website. If you want to get funky with it, you can go sonsofashgard.com. And then I'll take you to the special page for Sons of Ashgard, which you can also download some wallpaper for. So you can for your devices.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it works for just about anything from phones to tablets, everything else. You can have crazy Viking scroll action with your background stuff. Otherwise, otherwise you can find me, like I said, online. I'm going different places. Books are available. I do prose books too, fantasy books and stuff. There's sample chapters, audio, things of that nature. In fact, we'll be doing what just came out now recently, a audio omnibus. So all 3 books of the trilogy are being put together in one complete set. And it's actually cheaper, I think, than the main books. So it's actually kind of cool. You can download that on all the major places, and it's read by a pretty decent narrator. You can check that out. And it comes out the 13th of June. So not too far away.
I've got a handful of Audible credits, so I'm going to save those.
Yeah.
You might actually like Shadow Region if you like traditional fantasy and political stuff. You're a history guy. Narration is great. His name was Mike Braun. You can take a sample listen. I liked it. I wrote the book.
Shadow Region.
Of course you like it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I'm actually liking the story. This is cool. Yeah, it's called Shadow Region. It's about a bunch of gods and the political stuff that goes on, the shenanigan. Not in the Game of Thrones, but kind of that same kind of feel of different people competing and trying to challenge each other for control of this, that, and the other thing. And just kind of fun political family squabbles, things like that. So, but over to you, Matt. Anything you want to promote? Or
I'm on Instagram and Facebook under Scribble Theory, Scribble with a K. So S-K.
That's how you know it's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spell it wrong.
Cool with a K.
Cool with
a K.
Cool with a K. Yeah.
Radical. Yeah. Like cool again. So yeah, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. That's I do have a TikTok channel, but it's got like 2 things on it, so that doesn't,
Is it you doing the floss dance?
Huh?
Is it you doing the floss dance?
Yeah, I do. No one wants to see that.
Yeah. Maybe next time, all of America, we can kind of do a little squirrel dance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. Pretty cool. But otherwise, if you want to get updates where we're going to be, at least where I'm going to be too, there's an events page on my website with all this stuff going on. He might be doing some conventions. I can't speak for Matt. I know I'm doing some more in October and September. Might be going to Comic-Con in July, San Diego. We'll see what Dark Horse wants to put up with me.
Exciting.
We'll see how that goes. We're looking into that. So I will keep you informed on the website and social media as far as that goes. So I don't want to get too spiely here with everything, but that's generally it. I mean, like I said, I always encourage people. There's a bunch of free stuff on the website if it benefits you. I don't like forcing stuff on people if they don't want to buy stuff. I'd rather they try it before they get into it. So, check out the sample chapters, the excerpts. There's no audio for this graphic novel, unfortunately, yet. Maybe there will be in the future. We'll see. It's kind of weird doing audiobooks for graphic novels, It doesn't always
flow.
Yeah, that is that's interesting. Yes.
Yeah. Turn the page now. Yeah.
But other than that, it's just like I said, check it out, see if that's of interest to you, because I do other things besides comics, like I said, prose, fantasy stuff. But I really like this working with Matt. I think we'll do some more stuff in the future. Hopefully, right? Can't get too much into that right now, but anything else?
That was going to be my next question, because is the story continuing? You got stuff in the hopper. that you can talk about? Anything
How
you can
about
tell
you,
us?
Matt? Can you share? Can you share anything?
I don't know what I'm allowed to share.
Well, we can talk
Whatever
about
you want. Whatever
There
you
is a
want.
second book. The idea, I think I mentioned it last time, so it's safe, is we are trying to, at least I'm trying to do 9 parts in the story, because 9 is very big in the Viking culture, mythology, things like that. And there are 9 kingdoms, 9 realms, so to speak. The idea, like I said, they're standalone, so they're not going to compete with each other. You don't have to like read one to get the other one, but there are components where if you read one, they kind of can dovetail to the other one, Easter eggs, things like that. This first one is more or less Eric's story. I think it's safe to say his exploration of the world setting, how you get introduced to it. The other books that follow will be focusing more on different characters, and we'll continue the story a little bit and kind of focus on different elements. I can say with the second book, there's a little bit more, like I said, some bird elements, shall we say, in that. Matt's smiling because he knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Avian.
Some avian things. And then there's some avian action. There you go. Nice little alliteration.
Oh, I like that.
Avian action. By the book.
Avian action.
Avian action all over Ashgard.
32 points articulation. And then there's some elements where there's some more character development. There's some more relational elements, and that's probably all I'll say about that. So,
Okay. So there's more to come.
Yeah, I've written about 4 issues. So yeah,
that's
Wonderful.
fantastic. We don't. I'm not cutting it short. I just don't want to forget to tell people, because part of the point of our show here is we get a lot of people that are here to learn. I'm here to learn. We all learn from each other, and I will reiterate, guys, go to chadcorrie.com, and what these two guys have created, this story, and what Chad's created with his website and with his marketing, both of them taking the time, putting all the effort in. There's a lot to learn. So those of you who are looking to grow your own brand and your business, your creations, your stories, whatever they are, prose, motion pictures, whatever, they have a great thing going on, and their story, which is the reason we're here tonight, is to talk about that. Their story is awesome. So go buy that. Support these guys. Get their book, and then spread the word. Buy some copies for your friends. Christmas is coming.
in July.
Christmas in July. Always coming. Christmas is always coming. Father's Day is around the corner, right? Exactly. So grab some copies and spread the word, because this story looks really cool. And I've gotten a little bit of some behind the scenes. So thank you guys. I've been honored to be able to see that. So back, Vic saying, don't disrespect his Star Trek comics and records. Reading along with the record. Or I had the
Star Wars.
Who did anyone have the Hobbit the on record?
No.
The Rankin Bass Hobbit.
Yeah, Return of the King.
That was
Really?
Oh yes, those are so good. Those are
Track
so
that
good.
down.
A little bit.
I had Pac-Man records that they came with a book.
Pac-Man was it like 12 hours? Of
Yeah, we had the Star Wars one, the little R2D2.
Yeah.
If you want to extend this a little bit, we can talk a little bit about marketing, what we did for Dark Horse.
Yes.
If people want to learn
Do it.
about that.
Yep.
I won't
Yeah,
take
we
too
don't.
much time.
No.
Go for it.
Yeah, okay. Basically, Matt can talk a little bit about this too, because he's experienced it as well, the marketing side of it. Basically, for those who don't know, Dark Horse, our publisher, is a creator-owned type of concept.
Yeah.
So what that means to people that don't know is you own a lot of you own the IP, which is your intellectual property. You own basically everything for the most part. They give you a contract in which they will allow you to publish with them. There's certain things that go into that. Like there's, expectations, that you're going to have to like recoup some costs and things for printing. It's kind of a partnership kind of thing. But tied into that, what I'm learning more and more now is the marketing side can be kind of hit or miss. And that's a good thing. It's a bad thing. That's give me the, what's going on? So, I didn't know this. But basically what happens is, especially because it was such a long process with the graphic novel, Matt and I really want to try and get into doing like an issue by issue release. Because when you have a monthly release, you're always advertising the book every month in front of people. And then you have the graphic novel after everything's said and done. What happened with the graphic novel, but I take this back, Dark Horse did a good job in promoting it because we had that split release. We actually get like triple exposure. I don't know if you saw that, Matt. They did like some recent thing. Okay, he's not.
Yeah, I saw
and to make sure we're on the same page. I'm like, what? Okay. But basically they did triple exposure with this because usually what they would do is kind of like a one and done kind of thing. They put it out there and I'm not saying in a bad way, because we're a small cog in a big machine.
Mm-hmm.
They got lots of people. We're like one of scores of people they deal with every day, new creators, new titles. I don't even know all the stuff they produce, to be honest with you. It's like a lot. So to get a response from them and put something out there with their marketing team is great, because they have a bigger reach than Matt and myself combined. And they actually reach people that read comics, which is good. So that's the benefit of having someone like Dark Horse on your team, is you're getting the connections with Dark Horse, with the marketing on the social media side. They also allow you opportunities to get into trade shows like San Diego. I'll be going to ALA and things like that. So things that you could probably try and do that on your own, going to San Diego and things like that, but you're not necessarily going to have the big Dark Horse booth, and Dark Horse table, and the advertising and promotion that would get people interested in it. For me, I'm kind of blending things together here, but I'm a primarily prose writer, and I know distribution is the key for getting books into the stores. I mean, you can have a great book and you can have it available some places, but if you can't get it to the store, can't get it on the shelf, people aren't going to be able to pick it up. Marketing is a very close second. Obviously, you got to generate the awareness of it, but if you can't even get to the bookstore to pick it up, it's kind of hard. So having something like Dark Horse in play, or another publisher that allows you the distribution, works for Penguin Random House, which is the biggest distributor, I guess, in the world probably, and they've really come in handy, like with the split release thing, with this challenge. We said, can we just ship it to the stores directly? And they're like, oh yeah, I guess we could do that, because we're Penguin Random House. I'm like, okay, great. So problem solved. They've also caused some issues, because they're part of the reason why we had the ship delayed problems to begin with, and they pushed the book back a few weeks or a few months recently as well. So pluses and minuses there. But for us, I guess I don't want to speak for Matt, but I think for us, the benefit for me was having distribution and having a really top-notch editorial team. For example, we had editors go over everything, to catch everything, which sometimes you could miss, because I know for pros, especially in comics, you're so engrossed in the process of creation that you just gloss over everything.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
And I know it myself. You read it so many times when you edit in prose book or something, like you just
your brain fills it all in. Yep.
And that's why I recommended people do prose and things. Read it out loud. You'll catch things, and you'll actually see how it sounds, and you actually catch how it sounds on audiobooks. You can tweak some things and make some adjustments that way. But basically, having that team, we've had some great editors. We got some great design people. I mean, I think overall they did a great job with Ashgard. I know they've done great with the prose books. So just having that doesn't cost me anything. So that just having that benefit, I think, is a big plus. So in a lot of ways, I can't speak to every publisher, but just something like a Dark Horse, maybe like an Image, it's like self-publishing plus. You get the benefits of self-publishing, the creative control, the elements of it, but you don't have to be in charge of so much of it, and you don't have to pay for all of it, at least up front, if that makes sense. I mean, there are other things that come into play with that. But the benefit is, like I said, you get the connections there. I really enjoy working with Dark Horse on that, and you get people that actually know the business and have connections, and they can give you some feedback and say, well, why don't we do this, because we're going to be having a show this time, we can do it this way. Why don't you tweak it this way? Or things that you don't think about, because our buyer or our seller says this is really hot right now. So they help you get the leg up to the buyers in the bookstores, other places, comic shops. I mean, we did what was it? Somebody, a great connection there at Dark Horse. I have great people there all around. I can't speak too highly of them, but they had a special promotion we did just for comic shops, where I was to write a letter to people and say, hey, this book is coming out. We think you really like it. Take a look at it, check it out, kind of thing. And they sent it out to their top comic shops that buy most of their stuff from them. So it's advertising to a key demographic. I would not have been able to do that on my own, and it probably wouldn't have the clout, because who's this guy?
Right. Yeah.
But it comes from Dark Horse. It comes through Diamond, through at the time, now through Penguin. It seems more, you got some credentials. Wow, that's great. So that is, I think, the benefit. If I can say anything, do some research, and not to say what you're doing, if you want to do independent stuff is wrong. If it fits well for you, do that. But I just said there's some benefits to working with having the marketing side of things. And I know just working with Matt, what I found, I mean, just goofy things like this, the bookmark thing, doesn't cost that much to do it, but it goes a long way, because it can, like we've been finding, people pick these up. What I do, I put the cover on the front, and then I usually have, if I have reviews, which I have a few on there, or something about the book on the back, and where they can find out more information. It's real simple, and anyone can do that, and that alone can just get interest. Bookstores like it, people like it, because it's a companion piece to the book when you sell it. I mean, is there anything else you want to add, Matt?
No, it's just marketing has always been something that's I'm not not that skilled at, but when I was a young, what would you say, in indie at shows, I met up with my wife, and she would have buttons and stickers and all this extra stuff, and here I am trying to sell like mini comics, and no one's coming by, but people are picking up her buttons, and I'm like, there is something to this.
It's like connection, because it gives them something. It's a portable connection to your product, if that makes sense. So it gives them
a moving billboard.
Yeah, that's that's what I put it. So basically that soda bottle. It's like this is hokey. It's really hokey.
It's unique though.
But it's unique, and it's a visual thing. When I first started doing it, I thought, is this really going to work? But it's like we said, it's a visual thing. People see it, and they actually like the concept of the product. They remember it, and now I have a kind of a reputation, and it's a good thing to do. So
don't talk down about it, because co-creator of Bane, Graham Nolan, created. He lives near Buffalo. He and 42 North Brewing
Chinu
did Chinu. Oh no, Imperial Stout. You'd love it, Rory.
Oh yeah.
His story is this monster.
Crack that open when I get up there.
It came in the blizzard of '77, and then came back to Buffalo.
Oh, cool.
So they unopened.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. But see, you don't want to drink it. It's like,
it's a stout. I don't
cool.
want
it. But you always will think about that story now, because you have that visual connection to it. So that's what I thought about. Just having that visual connection. And like I said, it seems hokey, but it's just like there's little things like that, bookmarks or things like that, or prints or stuff. Yeah.
And so when you're building your brand, and I don't know if this holds true, because I've not been around long enough, but I read somewhere, if you can get 1,000 loyal followers, and you get those, because those 1,000 loyal followers will buy issue 1, 2, 3, 4, then they'll buy the trade paperback, then they'll buy the re-released special edition cover, and then they'll buy the pin, and that's what you want. Then they'll get the audiobook. You get those 1,000 loyal fans, and you get loyal fans by giving them those little extras. Because I've got the comic book. But I also have an unopened bottle of pop. Do you have that? I do. I'm a diehard. So those are and they've got to come to the conventions to get those things, or they've got to do that, like with Kickstarter. That's the drum I beat. You guys, this is your one opportunity to get the unique thing that sets you apart. You're not going to get this cover again. You're not going to get these extras again. This is the time. And I mean, because the book, you'll be able to grab the book later. But now, you grab those extras, and
only get Dean's cover on the Kickstarter. Had to be there.
Had to be there. So that you guys have done a fantastic job marketing, and it is a lot. Especially in the indie world, which is where most of us live, there's a lot on your shoulders, and then you got most of us have both jobs, and just creating an interesting social media post every day. Something new.
That is key.
Just to keep it new, keep it interesting. It's a lot. So, you've been fantastic.
What I tell you, Matt? I looked at Matt the other day, and I said, if I didn't have to do this for a living, I wouldn't be on social media. I wouldn't be. It is work, and it is a challenge, and you don't want to be that annoying guy. Like I said before, to always bug people. You want to keep it relevant. It's just you got to throw in. I call them palate cleansers once in a while, where it's like something totally irrelevant. It's like I'm walking today or something, on my bike, or just completely different to kind of spice it up a bit. So, But again, I don't want to be that clinical guy. It's like, well, I got to do 5 p.m. I got to do this post here to this people.
And with all marketing, you probably half of your marketing works, but which half? You don't know.
And it surprises you, because sometimes it's the weirdest stuff that people like, and it's like, this?
It's usually the throwaway one, the dumb one that you just like, I got to get something out there. You put it out there, and that's the one that gets all the hits. And what? The one you curated and spent hours on and wrote a script for,
or the annoying one is like months afterwards, someone will a lot of people will start liking it. It's like, now you like it, like
yes. Where were you? Where were you then? Yes,
it just means it's a sleeper hit. It's going to be a pop classic.
Right.
Well, so you guys do that too. Okay, not the only one. It's like, I got something different.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys have been fantastic. I don't want to cut anybody short. But I gotta go collect some bees out of a tree still. I have
Be safe.
Be
yourself.
Okay, I'm ending it right now. Chad, Matt, your story is fantastic. Everybody out there, I vouch for it. I love it. What I've read. Go buy a copy. Grab their book. Grab Chad's other books and check them out on social media. See what other work they've got in their resume. And Silverline is on Kickstarter right now. We got 2 titles. We'd love if you jumped over there. Busy night clicking around. Go support our books, support independent creators, artists, and writers, and we will be very thankful. And so we can keep creating and keep making great stories. And we'll be here next week, Wednesday. I don't remember our topic, but it will be posted on social media. Like, share, follow, all those good things on all these great people. We're all out there on social media and the interwebs. And that's it for my parting thoughts. Chad, Matt, thank you so much. And you are welcome back anytime. And we will be happy to continue talking and see how your stories are going. So without further ado, while I ramble, I'm going to click over here. I'm going to click the stream end. Good night, everybody. And always remember, make mine Silverline. Good night.
Hi, I'm Bill Black. I created FemForce. But you know what? Today, make mine Silverline.